to talk a little bit about swim bait fishing, particularly as it pertains to how I rig them. And I want to give you my top 3 style of hooks or presentations that I utilize to fish the swim bait, because a swim bait comes without a hook, and so you could do whatever, you could do a bunch of different things to this bait to add the hook, to use it. You could put it on the back of an umbrella style rig, you can fish it alone, different things like that. But I want to give you my top 3 rigging choices for hooking and landing fish on a swim bait. The first I want to talk about is one that's the weedless version, or Texas style swim bait hook. This is an Owner Beast hook. This is their 4/0 series. It's got an 1/8 ounce belly weight that's molded onto the shank. And this hook was popularized in the very beginning when the hollow bellied style swim baits first came onto the scene, which was really the first entry into a smaller bait that would catch fish all the way down to about 1.5 pounds. These hollow bellied, and what I mean by that is this is a Strike King Shadowlicious. There's actually a hollow section inside this. And so we really needed a hook that you could use kind of, because you rig this kind of like a worm, but then you needed some weighting to keep it upright and get all that action. And that's this hook. That's what this hook does for you. It basically is a harness style hook so that you can present this swim bait around any bass holding cover, whether it's rocks, weed, wood, brush, laydowns, just you name it. That's what made this hook so popular, is that it was originated in that hollow bellied era, and then now everybody uses it anytime you're fishing around cover, which makes sense. And we like to Texpose it where the hook kind of just pops through with very little pressure, but it enables that swim bait to get that action inherent in each bait. So that little tail likes to kick like that, and while it's kicking, it actually moves the head forward, so it kind of looks like a fish swimming through the water, which makes these so great in really clear water. So that's the #1 hook that I probably think everybody fishes and works in a wide variety of situations. The next one is a jig head. Basically, this is a Strike King Squadron swim bait jig head. And this jig head is really ideal for all types of swim baits, even up to your larger ones. This is a Strike King Rage Swimmer swim bait. This is their 4 3/4. This is their 3 3/4 size. And the reason this got a medium wire hook, and this allows me to make a really long bomb cast and set the hook on a better size fish, say 3, 4, 5 plus, and I still have the power to control him. And if I wanted to, I could even swing him in the boat without flexing that hook too much. So this is probably the #1, say, size and type as far as a jig head to thread on a swim bait. And I really like it because it still allows the swim bait to get that action. And the beautiful thing about it is a lot of times swim bait fish will roll on a bait or hit it or come alongside it. And with the hook exposed like that, you can hook some of those fish that you wouldn't necessarily hook with a weedless style. So that's the second one. And last is one I've really been playing with recently. This is the Owner Flashy Swimmer. And one of the things I like about this is real similar to the Owner Beast hook in that it's got a belly hook or a belly weight here, but it's got this little spinner blade down here. And what makes this great is anytime you want to draw more fish's attention to the swim bait, especially like low light situations or overcast days, windy days, and even in dirtier water, that little blade creates just enough flash to draw fish's attention to the swim bait, but doesn't really give off any negative cues. It's just a real subtle spinnerbait blade there, and this guy really has a lot of drawing power. Swim baits inherently are better in clear water because it's such a natural swimming. It looks just like a real fish in the water, the way it swims. So it doesn't have any rattles or different things like that to really, fish need great distance of visibility to see these baits so that you can actually appeal to them and then attract them and have them come to the bait. So this little spinner definitely adds a little added flash so that you can really pull more fish to the bait. The last one is really just the same thing. It's really kind of an A and B type scenario. This is obviously the Squadron Swimbait jig head is my A, and then my B would be anytime that I'm fishing around really clear water, fish that maybe aren't so big, say smallmouth spotted bass and even largemouth fisheries that have a lot of pressure, heavy pressure fishing situation where the fish are a little shy to heavy line and larger baits. This little jig head, this is a owner round type ball head jig called their Ultra Head. It's got a really super sharp hook and molded on a little ball head jig, as you'd say, and then 3/16, 1/8, quarter. And I'm using this on a Strike King Rage Swimmer. This is their 2 3/4 ounce size, or 2 3/4 inch size. And basically what I'm doing with all these is I'm matching my hook size and my hook diameter and my weights and different things like that, depending upon the size of the swim bait that I'm fishing. So just keep that in mind. You don't want to use a great big 6/0 hook on a little bitty swim bait like this, or even a heavier jig head on a small swim bait like this. You want to kind of match it so it all looks streamlined, it all looks uniform, it all like it goes together. You don't want to put a little bitty swim bait on a big heavy wire hook and so forth. But those are my top 3. This is really kind of an A and B scenario here. And again, the Owner Beast hook for your weedless. This is more for your open water type scenarios. And lastly, for when you want to draw fish to your swim bait, that little flashy swimmer with the spinnerbait blade on it is awesome. Keep in mind though, whenever you're rigging any of your swim baits, you want them to be real straight when they go on the hook. We'll probably do a little bit of a video later on that, on how to get them to be straight. So you notice this is really rigged straight on there. That is important with swim baits, just so the baits swim through the water right. They're not turning over on their side and rolling and different things like that. It looks completely unnatural. So that's swim bait fishing and my top 3 ways to rig them. Thanks.